A big hello from our little story club once again. Today's book is another very fun book by Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler. It's called The Smartest Giant in Town. I hope you enjoy listening to it and doing the yoga moves with me. So here we go. Alright. George was a giant, the scruffiest giant in town. He always wore the same pair of old brown sandals and the same old patched up gown. "I wish I wasn't the scruffiest giant in town," he said sadly. But one day, George noticed a new shop. It was full of smart clothes. So he bought a smart shirt, a smart pair of trousers, a smart belt, a smart stripy tie, some smart socks with diamonds up the sides, and a pair of smart shiny shoes. "Now I'm the smartest giant in town," he said proudly. I want you to do a little warm-up exercise with me. So we're going to wear our clothes like the giant. So what I want you to do is sit down. First, we're going to wear the shirt. For the shirt, I want you to put one hand into the shirt, the other hand into the shirt. Now let's see if it fits well. Stretch this one out and stretch the other hand out. Very good. Now we're going to wear our trousers. So stand up for me. Alright. I want you to put one leg into the trouser and the other leg into the trouser. Very good. Now we're going to put our belt, and the belt goes around the waist. So hands on your waist. Let's go around with the belt and the other way around with the belt. And now we're going to wear the tie around our neck. So hands on your waist, put the tie around your neck and the other way around your neck. Very good. Now we're going to wear our socks. For the socks, I want you to sit like a butterfly. Put your toes together and let's wear our socks. Let's flap those butterfly wings and wear our socks. And the last thing that the giant wears is the shoes. So stretch one leg out, touch your toes with both your hands and look down to your knee. Very good. Let's do that on the other leg. So we're putting on our other pair of shoes. Stretch your leg out, hold your toes and look all the way down. Very good. Now the giant has worn his clothes and he thinks he's the smartest giant in town. Let's see what happens. George left his old clothes behind in the shop. He was about to go home when he heard a sound. On the pavement stood a giraffe who was sniffing sadly. "What's the matter?" asked George. "It's my neck," said the giraffe. "It's so very long and so very cold. I wish I had a long warm scarf." Let's become the giraffe. For the giraffe, I want you to put your feet out. Twist one foot to the side. Alright, bend your knee. Go down on your knee and stretch your arm out. Very good. Now let's do that on the other side. Hands to your side. Turn one foot. Bend your knee. Go down on your knee and stretch your arm out. Very good. That is our giraffe pose. Now let's see what way George can help the giraffe. "Cheer up," said George, and he took off his stripy tie. "It didn't match my socks anyway," he said. As he wound it round and round the giraffe's neck, it made a wonderful scarf. "Thank you," said the giraffe. As George strode towards home, he sang to himself, "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, but look me up and down. I'm the smartest giant in town." He seems very happy, but let's see what happens. George came to a river. On a boat stood a goat who was bleating loudly. "What's the matter?" asked George. "It's my sail," said the goat. "It blew away in a storm. I wish I had a strong new sail for my boat." Let's do our goat pose. I want you to go down in fours like this. Very good. Now you're going to push your hip all the way behind and come back on top. Let's do that again. All the way behind and come back. One last time. Go behind and come back on top. So the goat needs a sail. How can George help him? Cheer up, said George, and he took off his new white shirt. It kept coming untucked anyway, he said, as he tied it to the mast of the goat's boat. It made a magnificent sail. Thank you, said the goat. George strode on, singing to himself. My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. But look me up and down. I'm the smartest giant in town. He was very happy. Let's see what happens. George came to a tiny ruined house. Beside the house stood a white mouse with lots of baby mice. They were all squeaking. What's the matter? Asked George. It's our house, squeaked the mother mouse. It burnt down and now we have nowhere to live. I wish we had a nice new house. Let's do our mouse pose. For the mouse pose, I want you to go down, sit on your heel, put your hands to your sides on the ground and look all the way down into your tummy and stay there. So you go down, tuck your head in and stay there. This is a little mouse pose. Very good. Now, let's see how he helps the mouse. Cheer up, said George, and he took off one of his shiny shoes. It was giving me blisters anyway, he said, as the mouse and her baby scrambled inside. The shoe made a perfect home for them. Thank you, they squeaked. George had to hop along the road now, but he didn't mind. As he hopped, he sang to himself. My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. But look me up and down. I'm the smartest giant in town. Now, George came to a campsite. Beside a tent stood a fox who was crying. What's the matter? Asked George. It's my sleeping bag, said the fox. I dropped it in a puddle. I wish I had a warm, dry sleeping bag. Let's do a fox pose. You're going to go down on your fours. All right. Now lift your left leg and your right hand. Stretch them out. Left leg out, right hand up. There you go. Good job. Now let's switch. Put your right leg up and your left hand out and stay there. That is our fox pose. Good. Now let's see how he helps the fox. Cheer up, said George, and he took off one of his socks with diamonds up the sides. It was tickling my toes anyway, he said, as the fox snuggled into it. It made a very fine sleeping bag. Thank you, said the fox. George hopped on, singing to himself. My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. One of my socks is a bed for a fox. But look me up and down. I'm the smartest giant in town. He still seems very happy. George came to a big squelchy bog. Beside the bog stood a dog who was howling. What's the matter? Asked George. It's this bog, said the dog. I need to get across, but I keep getting stuck in the mud. I wish there was a safe, dry path. Let's do our dog pose. So you're going to go on your fours. All right, and now I want you to lift your knees and go up. This is our downward dog. Now you can lift up one leg to wag your tail. So put one leg up and wag your tail. That's it. Now let's try that with the other leg. Lift the other leg and wag your tail. Good job. All right, now let's see how he helps the dog. Cheer up, said George, and he took off his smart new belt. "It was squashing my tummy anyway," he said, as he laid it down over the bog. "It made an excellent path." "Thank you," said the dog. The wind started to blow, but George didn't mind. He hopped on, singing to himself, "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, my shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat, my shoe is a house for a little white mouse, one of my socks is a bed for a fox, my belt helped a dog who was crossing a bog, but my trousers are falling down. I'm the coldest giant in town." Suddenly, George felt very, very sad and shivery and not at all smart. He stood on one foot and thought, "I'll have to go back to the shop and buy some more clothes," he decided. He turned round and hopped all the way back to the shop. I want you all to hop like George on one leg. So go up, lift your one leg and try to hop. You can put your hands up or to the side or just by your side. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. Let's try that on the other leg. Lift the other leg up and let's go hopping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job. Now let's see if George gets new clothes. But when he got there, it was closed. "Oh no," cried George. He sank down onto the doorstep and a tear ran down his nose. He felt as sad as all the animals he had met on his way home. Let's be sad like George. If you see the way he's sitting, he's holding his legs close to his tummy and hugging it. And let's do a little rock on your bottom. 1, 2, 3. Very good. George is very, very sad. But what happens? Then, out of the corner of his eye, he saw a bag with something familiar poking out of the top. George took a closer look. "My gown!" he yelled. "My dear old gown and sandals." George put them on. They felt wonderfully comfortable. "I'm the coziest giant in town," he cried, and he danced back home along the road. Now he was happy. Outside his front door stood all the animals he had helped. They were carrying an enormous present. "Come on, George," they said, "open it." George untied the ribbon. Inside was a beautiful gold paper crown and a card. "Look inside the card, George," said the animals. George put the crown on his head and opened the card. With the crown on his head, George looked like a king. So I want you to do the king pose. You go down on your knees, lift one knee up, hold the other leg from behind and raise your hand up and look straight. That's right, that is our king pose. Let's try that with the other leg. So switch knees, very good. Hold your leg behind, all right, hold it. And keep your hand up straight and look straight. Good job. All right, now let's read what's written in George's card. The animals gave him a special card. Inside it said, "Your tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. Your shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. Your shoe is a house for a little white mouse. One of your socks is a bed for a fox. Your belt helped a dog who was crossing a bog. So here is a very fine crown to go with the sandals and gown of the kindest giant in town." Wasn't that a really, really sweet card that the animals made for George? So just like George, I want you all to remember that when you help someone who is in need, someone who is sad, one day when you are looking for someone to help you, you will never be disappointed, always. So remember, be kind, be nice, be generous, all right? That's all from our little story club this week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.